For decades, France maintained a significant military presence in Africa, often intervening in conflicts, supporting allied governments, and safeguarding its economic and strategic interests. However, recent years have seen a dramatic shift in France's role on the continent. With the withdrawal of French troops from several African nations and the rise of anti-French sentiment, Paris is now grappling with a critical question. Can it rely on soft power to maintain its influence in Africa? As France transitions from a military-heavy approach to one centered on diplomacy, culture, and economic partnerships, the effectiveness of its soft power strategy remains uncertain. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications to stay updated. Add the decline of France's military influence.
France's military presence in Africa dates back to the colonial era, but it persisted long after most African nations gained independence.
Through operations like Operation Barkhane in the Sahel and military bases in countries such as Chad, Mali, and Niger, France positioned itself as a key security partner for many African governments.
However, this presence has increasingly been met with resistance.
In recent years, anti-French sentiment has surged across Africa, fueled by perceptions of neocolonialism and dissatisfaction with France's role in local conflicts. Protests and demands for the withdrawal of French troops have become common, leading to the expulsion of French forces from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. These developments have marked a significant decline in France's military influence and forced Paris to rethink its approach to the continent. The rise of soft power. With its military leverage waning, France is now turning to soft power, a strategy that relies on cultural, economic, and diplomatic tools rather than force. Soft power allows a country to shape preferences and build relationships through attraction and persuasion rather than coercion.
For France, this means emphasizing its historical ties, cultural connections, and economic partnerships with African nations.
1. Cultural diplomacy. France has long been a cultural powerhouse, and its language, education system, and media remain influential in Africa.
French is widely spoken across the continent, and institutions like the Alliance Française and French universities continue to attract African students and professionals.
By investing in cultural exchanges, language programs, and educational initiatives, France hopes to strengthen its ties with African youth and future leaders.
2. On economic partnerships. France is also seeking to bolster its economic relationships with Africa.
Through initiatives like the UAC Africa-France Summit, Paris aims to promote trade, investment, and development projects that benefit both sides.
French companies, particularly in sectors like energy, infrastructure, and telecommunications, have a significant presence in Africa and are seen as key players in the continent's economic growth. 3. Diplomatic engagement. Diplomacy is another cornerstone of France's soft power strategy. By engaging with African governments, regional organizations like the African Union, and multilateral forums, France hopes to position itself as a trusted partner in addressing global challenges such as climate change, security, and development. Challenges to France's soft power strategy. While France's soft power tools hold promise, they are not without challenges.
The legacy of colonialism and France's past military interventions continue to shape perceptions of its intentions.
Many Africans view France's efforts with skepticism, seeing them as attempts to maintain control under a different guise.
Additionally, France faces competition from other global powers such as China, Russia, and the United States, which are also vying for influence in Africa.
1. Anti-French sentiment. The rise of anti-French sentiment poses a significant obstacle to France's soft power strategy. Protests, social media campaigns, and political rhetoric have all contributed to a negative image of France in many African countries.
Overcoming this perception will require a genuine effort to address past grievances and build trust.
Competition from other powers. China in particular has emerged as a major player in Africa, offering infrastructure projects, loans, and investment without the historical baggage associated with France.
Russia, through its Wagner Group, has also expanded its influence in countries like Mali and the Central African Republic. These competitors challenge France's ability to maintain its relevance in Africa. 3. Adapting to African priorities. For France's soft power strategy to succeed, it must align with the priorities and aspirations of African nations. This means moving beyond traditional top-down approaches and fostering partnerships that are mutually beneficial and respectful of African agency.
And the path forward.
France's transition from military to soft power in Africa represents a significant shift in its foreign policy. While the decline of its military influence has been a setback, it also offers an opportunity for France to redefine its relationship with the continent. By focusing on cultural diplomacy, economic partnerships, and diplomatic engagement, France can build a more sustainable and equitable presence in Africa. However, success will depend on France's ability to address the challenges it faces. This includes acknowledging past mistakes, engaging with African voices, and adapting to the changing dynamics of the continent. If France can demonstrate a genuine commitment to partnership and mutual respect, its soft power strategy may yet prove effective.
Conclusion.
The decline of France's military influence in Africa marks the end of an era, but it also opens the door to a new approach centered on soft power. While the road ahead is fraught with challenges, France has the tools and resources to rebuild its relationships with African nations. By embracing a strategy that prioritizes collaboration, cultural exchange, and economic development, France can position itself as a trusted partner in Africa's future. The question remains, will it seize this opportunity, or will it be overshadowed by other global powers vying for influence on the continent?